Organs left in chicken wings? Days-old meat in pot pies? If you're planning a trip to Kentucky Fried Chicken, here are some things others have found to watch out for. How does a hunk of crispy chicken with a slathering of sauce and melted pizza toppings sound? Whether or not this description attracts you, this combination does exist thanks to KFC. Aptly named the Chizza, the chicken pizza mashup has been a hit at international KFC locations for years, but wasn't introduced in select outlets across the United States until February 2024.
Fried chicken? That's a pizza.
The American consumer opinion regarding this newly introduced item seems split. Some find it delicious, others subpar. However, customers seem to universally agree on one thing. The Chizza is too expensive, a Reddit user wrote. When I heard of this trash chicken parm, I checked their app. As soon as I saw the price, I laughed and laughed. No way. The Chizza, which has been going for around $10 or more depending on location, is raising eyebrows for its price tag. Consumers feel the product is an upsell for what you actually get, a relatively small amount of chicken with a sprinkling of cheap toppings. Under one YouTube review of the product, one commenter said, "I suspect that KFC added $1 worth of pepperoni, sauce, and cheese to $3 worth of fried chicken to distract their customers from the fact that the Chizza is a massive ripoff." Every food has a point at which it becomes unsafe to eat. In restaurants, the consumer's ability to make judgment calls regarding food safety is stripped, and so they place their trust in those cooking their food. But at KFC, this trust may be misplaced. Countless employees report instances in which management has encouraged the keeping and serving of questionable-looking chicken and other products. One person wrote on Reddit, "I just quit KFC, and as a cook, I would sniff every bag of chicken I opened, and if they didn't smell right, I threw them away regardless of the expiration date." Sadly, similar iffy scenarios are plentiful and reported across platforms regarding KFC, but what you will do with this information going forward is up to you.
Some people think it's kind of gross.
It's KFC's claim to fame. The franchise's chicken comes fresh on a truck, to be hand-breaded in store. It's a refreshing taste of the old-fashioned in a world full of pre-frozen products. And the promise of receiving something handcrafted makes ordering from the chain more attractive. But while this level of freshness has been publicized so highly, it hasn't applied to every product on the KFC menu over the years. A surprising number of items have come in frozen, according to workers, from the currently offered chicken nuggets, all the way down to the now discontinued bites, wings, strips, and popcorn chicken. One supposed employee wrote on Reddit, "The only chicken that comes in frozen and needs to be defrosted would be the strips and the bites." Another in a more recent discussion confirmed the same of two additional popular products, the hot wings and popcorn chicken, while yet another employee reported the same of the chain's current front-runner, the chicken nuggets. If freshness is your main desired quality in a KFC entree, one of its standard fried chicken selections, which is guaranteed to be hand-breaded raw, is your best bet. When one bites down into a fried chicken tender or nugget, they hope they will be hot, crunchy, and savory. What they hope not to find within the center of a chunk of delicious sizzling poultry? Why, a leftover body part, of course. Yes, we're serious. Kidneys, spinal cords, and brains are just a few of the fun surprises select unlucky consumers have been met with after ordering KFC chicken over the years. One user posted a photo on Reddit of a shriveled organ tucked within a cutlet, writing, "What's this thing in my fried chicken?" Another user responded, "It's part of the chicken's kidney." Sure enough, evidence confirming the customer's bizarre, off-putting find litters the internet. A comment in a separate thread reads, "Why is the chicken cut up in such a way that the huge pieces are always wing plus spinal cord? I don't want to eat cooked spinal fluid." The worker responded, "To be honest, I don't know. I actually had a customer complain about this exact thing. From then on, I snapped the backbone off the breasts before breading them. Several times I had to detach organs that were left over." It was 2008 when KFC introduced a new poultry product called the Smoky Chipotle Crispy, and it was proclaimed to be every bit as hot as the name suggested. Though it was only available for a limited time, employees weren't mourning its absence when it was ushered out of the kitchens for good. This is because, according to a shocking admission, the mixture used to flavor the Chipotle chicken was so hot that it was hazardous.
My eyes are burning.
Employees described sinus discomfort, eye pain, and nausea stemming from the preparation and cleanup of the item on a Reddit thread. One user wrote, "Did you ever have to wash the bucket they made the now discontinued Chipotle chicken in? When I worked there, you had to cover your eyes and face. Pouring that down the sink unleashed a wall of fumes in what I can only describe as being maced. Tears were coming out, snot pouring out my nose, and once I started dry heaving." A second worker went on to admit that the spicy chicken dish had even put them in the hospital, writing, "Because the Chipotle leftovers seeped through the glove onto my hand without me knowing, ultimately ending up in my eye." For years, Canada enjoyed a specific style of coleslaw at its KFC restaurants. A neon green, creamy side made with pulverized bits of very, very brightly colored cabbage. For the most part, residents of the Great White North seem to enjoy this specialized dish alongside their fried chicken buckets until 2017, when the franchise changed its infamous lime green Canadian slaw to a toned-down variant matching that of its American restaurants. While some consumers were frustrated, others felt that, health-wise, the change may have been for the best. This is because some customers speculated that the impossibly green product was likely crafted using artificial food dye. In a post on Quora, one self-proclaimed former restaurateur presented their theory behind the unforgettable hue, writing, "Here's the reason why KFC's coleslaw used to be virtually neon green. In order to turn it that green, it took food coloring. When people started to complain about food coloring and chemicals in food overall, KFC decided to get rid of the coloring and went with the more natural look, and that's how it's been ever since."
This slaw is amazing.
While this claim cannot be substantiated via any formal statement from KFC, other platforms have hosted discussions declaring the likely reality of the scenario. Regardless, the chapter has closed on the radioactive-looking coleslaw. KFC's yummy pot pies might be one of the most celebrated items on the franchise's menu, but the baked treat is not without its own issues. According to a multitude of employee admissions sprinkled across online platforms, the baked, warm, meaty pies are made using old, chopped chunks harvested from chicken cutlets that didn't sell. One alleged worker wrote on Reddit, "Every night at closing, the leftover fried chicken pieces that weren't sold are set out to cool, and the meat is picked off the bones by hand and shredded to use for these pies the next day." While chicken 1 day old in and of itself doesn't sound too nefarious, another employee on a separate thread admitted to the fact that the day-old rule for the pot pies is sometimes extended, writing, "The company policy is to use the chicken from the night or two before." It's this last comment that causes us to pause. Perhaps day-old chicken could be considered acceptable in the center of a pie, but 2-day-old chicken? Is that okay? We'll just have to let you decide. Sometimes you get a good bowl of mac and cheese from the popular chicken chain. Sometimes you don't. Consistency issues regarding KFC's cheesy side dish are so well established that they've become an unofficial consumer expectation. However, according to KFC employees, it's hardly the fresh bowls of the stuff that are the problem, it's the old ones. In a Reddit thread, one alleged employee responded to a complaint that the side comes with crunchy, unappealing noodles, writing, "They either overcooked it or it sat out too long in the hot well. They're supposed to add water to it if it's too dry, but, not everyone does what they should." Another worker echoed this on another thread, writing, "After sitting in the hot well for a while, it gets to be like the way you described. It loses moisture, and the bottom starts to burn a bit, thus making it a bit crunchy." However, this particular user ended things with a word of helpful advice, writing, "See if they have mac and cheese in one of the heating units. This is different because it's being heated all around with no air exposure due to it being wrapped up." It was January 2022 when KFC hopped on the meatless bandwagon. After a successful test run, KFC officially released its Beyond Fried Chicken plant-based nuggets, receiving praise from consumers and news outlets everywhere.
It's a Kentucky Fried Miracle.
However, despite the popularity of the poultry-free meat alternative, there was a dirty little secret that destroyed the effort for many. Despite popular belief, the vegan menu item was not vegan approved. Why? It was fried using the same equipment and frying oil as the regular chicken. One person wrote on Reddit, warning for vegan-vegetarian customers. No, the Beyond Nuggets cannot be considered vegan-vegetarian They are cooked in the same oil as chicken. It isn't just a location thing. They don't have dedicated fryers for Beyond at any of them. I can see them being discontinued very fast because the entire target audience won't eat them. While KFC's official website did disclose this fact, it was certainly not overly publicized, leaving a bad taste in some consumers' mouths that had nothing to do with the plant-based product itself. Whether or not this did affect the nuggets' eventual exit from the KFC menu is unclear.